Love is love, baby, and we don't shine if you don't shine. Here are the 10 games with the most inclusive romance options. Number 10. Bully. I bet you didn't expect to see Rockstar Games, the makers of Grand Theft Auto, kicking off our list. But then again, Bully does a lot of things the developers haven't returned to. Stink bombs and slingshots are the weapons of choice in this decidedly more gentler open-world game. About a young rapscallion named Jimmy, let loose on Bulworth's Academy to become the ultimate 15-year-old mech daddy. No, seriously, he kisses the girls, he kisses the guys. He would probably kiss himself if he could too, the little make-out machine. And if you've got something to say about it, you might want to keep it to yourself, as Jimmy is known to put firecrackers in people's shoes. Hey, I'm just warning you. Number 9. Baldurs Gate 3. This world-renowned RPG is known for its expensive story fracture point, exceptionally well-written characters and scenarios, and of course, you can hook up with a bear. And no, we're not talking about the Danny DeVito parlance. We're talking about an actual bear, like, you know, the one you see on a honey bottle. Well, actually, it's a druid named Halsin, which for the sake of brevity is just a guy. So we're talking about a guy's brain and a bear's body. He can transform back and forth, but it's complicated. The point is, you've got 6 fully romanceable characters, and if one of them is this interesting, you can already imagine how the rest go. Now, whatever you do, do not attempt this in real life, at least with not Werner Herzog. Number 8. The Sims 4. When The Sims originally launched, it was considered a groundbreaking sociological phenomenon, explaining the desire cycle of modern consumerists. But this eventually shook out into 2 camps. Either you wanted to let your sim drown in the pool, you monster, or you wanted to see them kiss. Seems like kissing won the day because many expansions later, and The Sims 4 is loaded with options for gender and romance, even expanding into weddings. Or you can launch your sim into a failed space exposition to suffocate. Seriously, will you grow up already? Okay, do it again. Number 7. Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator. Hey, if it's not clear by now, this is not a ranked list, because everybody out there is looking for something a little different. And Dream Daddy, a dad dating simulator, is certainly that. You play as a dad, get to build your dad bod from bulky to tight, and then you get to converse with the titular dream daddies in pursuit of dad romance. And unlike other games so far, this is a visual novel, so no fighting or space launches. We're talking 24/7 dads, and compelling dads at that. This game can certainly be a meme at times, but sooner or later, you're bound to experience a genuinely touching moment. Dream on, you crazy daddies. Number 6. Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Some people will tell you that Fire Emblem 3 Houses is a turn-based strategy RPG by Intelligent Systems and published by Nintendo. And sure, I guess you got all the facts right if you want to be boring about it, but the real ones know this game is about the tea. Yeah, there's going to be some axes, and there's going to be some arrows, and characters can die forever. But forget about that. This game is about tea parties, baby. And yeah, you use these to weave interpersonal relationships, like a real sociopath, but like in a cute anime way. The only downside here is same-sex relationships are never given the same legitimacy, instead being labeled as close friends. Just gals being pals, and bros being bros in union. Yeah, sure, okay, Nintendo. But whatever, it's a closer step in the right direction. You're lucky these tea parties are so addictive. Number 5. Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is amongst the most charming, cozy games ever to be released. Off in a faraway town, no longer in the hustle and bustle of a 9-to-5, you'll encounter a town absolutely jam-packed with the nicest, most warm characters in a game today. Seriously, this game is light therapy for some people. You can pretty much date anybody and eventually get married. It's also nonchalant and sweet. You really can't go wrong with who you pick, but it should be Abigail. Sure, she's a bit reactionary and immature, but you know what would be really immature? Marrying Leah. Number 4. Cyberpunk 2077. Okay, let's get this out of the way. You're not meant to actually want to live in Night City. It's a horrible place. Its society, its governments, its gangs, its corporations are at a perpetual war to gain just a meager salary. Body parts are quite literally bought and sold. In short, things are grim. But when it comes to gender and romance, actually, they're pretty healthy. This is more of a hookup culture, at least in the game's story, but its approach to intimacy is so sweet and honest. It's one of the few bits of the whole game that doesn't feel oppressively bleak, which for a game that's known to be, you know, extreme, is kind of surprising. Good on you, CD Projekt Red. Number 3. Hades. Supergiant Games' Smash 2020 hit is such an exceptional roguelike, isometric action game, it's easy to overlook how well it tells its story, including some optional bits. Even though you'll only be able to select 3 potential suitors, we have a male personification of death, complete with a scythe and some sick abs, a Fury sister with giant bat wings, which, you know, has to be the ultimate goth flex, or Dursa, a snake head with a feather duster. Well, you at least it's different. Hades' story builds upon a sense of community, and your romance options feel like an extension of that Greek chorus. Number 2, Mass Effect Trilogy. They put this game on the news because of its romance options. Slow day, we'll assume, but for the time, we'll admit the Mass Effect Trilogy's intergalactic laissez-faire attitude towards the character's hookup was, well, it finally felt like hard science fiction. And no, that's not innuendo. Science fiction novels have long engaged in some hyper-unconventional relationships and genders. Captain Kirk wasn't the only hard-loving spaceman. Developer BioWare clearly saw the controversy and carefully slammed their foot on the gas pedal, giving players many more chances to get down with multiple genders and alien races, but only if you want to. It's not really an important aspect. Heck, you can skip it altogether if you feel like it. But kudos for BioWare for letting all ships get their freaks on in their way, in space. Number 1, Saints Row 4. Hey, like we already said, this is not a ranked list, and what better way to end this than with a bit of levity? The Saints Row gang get a little over their heads in Part 4 when the Earth explodes, so now they're in space and using virtual reality to fight an alien corporation with Matrix-style superpowers. Obviously, things have gotten a bit complicated. Thankfully, the romance options aren't. You just walk up and hit a button, and a crewmate will enthusiastically say yes, and the hard lovin' begins. Well, all except Keith David, which is understandable. He's on another level entirely. But everyone else and everything else about romance in this game is just so non-judgmental and relaxed, with absolutely no barrier to access. Doesn't get much more inclusive than that. Alright, love bugs, that's the end of our 10 games with the most inclusive romance options. They say if you love something, you should set it free. So how about moving on from this video over to Game Rant? We've got many more lists, many more videos, and much more sweet romance. So we hope to see you there.